Have you ever wondered if you wanted to train your back differently? Mostly in terms of the gym, where you're kind of sick and tired of deadlift, kind of sick and tired of the other exercises that are very kind of damaging and very energy uh, exhausting and even takes a lot of time. I mean, with this video, I do want to go with the three exercises to train your back muscles for the gym. The reason why I want to make this video is because I do kind of have a view, of course, on building physique. Obviously, depends on your physique itself, on your bone structure. But I think most guys, for that, I'm only speaking for the guys, of course, in this um in this scenario. So I'm a guy, of course, but building V taper is probably the main foundation for training your back muscles, for training your back muscles on your torso, not some other type of muscle. So when it comes to these exercises, free exercises I've picked, these exercises are the ones that are probably the most easiest to use, not in terms of actually in terms of difficulty, because they can be very difficult at times for sure. Especially two of them. I think all three of them, to be honest, are very difficult. To perform with very heavy weight. As I do want to focus on exercises that are a bit different, not as traditional. I know you guys probably have heard of these exercises before. If you're someone who watches, fitness content and kind of goes off the rails from the typical mainstream kind of more kind of underground, kind of where the real, fitness, you could say bodybuilders or even personal trainers who have built very good physiques. And with the first exercise, this is, to be honest, probably one of my favorite exercises. This is the dumbbell pullover. To keep it very simple, the dumbbell pullover is an exercise where you want to focus on the expansion of the rib cage, as it also focuses on the lats, focuses on the rib cage itself, on really exaggerating, emphasizing a lot of pressure and a lot of tension in that area. But also it helps with your chest, just in terms of stabilizing dumbbells. I will explain how it actually works, and also it helps with your flexion, the flexibility of the actual shoulders itself. So the actual exercise, I mean, for mainstream, the traditional kind of way that dumbbell pullovers are known for, or seen, it's where you lie flat on the bench, you know, perpendicular, to the bench. Obviously, where you lay your torso and your head and your body mainly off from your legs, of course. But the thing is with, and also you'd have the dumbbell basically above, like this. So the dumbbell would be over here, and you want to extend your lats over here. The thing is, when you do it the traditional way, you don't get a lot of pressure in your lats. It's more of a shoulder flexion exercise, which is, in my opinion, makes it a bit more difficult. Makes it very misleading and misguided for people because they would assume that they're doing the exercise properly when they're not. But also, it gives the impression that they should lift more, but it may even lead to injury because putting that much tension on your shoulders, especially when you're in a very awkward position, when you're putting your hands and your shoulders behind you to maintain the weight because of the dumbbell where it's placed, the fact that your palms are facing up towards the wall of the gym that you're training at, um, it makes it a very dangerous exercise. And the way that I've been doing it, thanks to mainly natural hypertrophy, shout out to him, of course. I'm not sure what's happened to him of recently. Of course, I haven't checked his content recently, but the exercise, the way I do it is I actually lie sideways on the bench. So the only part of my body that is on the bench, in contact with the bench, and is kind of, I'm leaning on the bench with, is my shoulder blades, my scapula. Um, and this is due to the fact that not only allows your lats to actually feel the contraction and take some responsibility in terms of holding the dumbbells properly when it's away from your body, and your shoulders are obviously stabilizing themselves and the arms and your upper body, but also is to allow yourself to even adjust your hips. And this is important. And also you can adjust your feet, of course, and your legs, but the hips are important because it'll allow you to kind of give yourself some leeway if the exercise, when you're going when you're doing negative, and also when you're going down with the weight. So basically, when the weight is going down, you're doing your negatives, you're performing the exercise. When you allow the dumbbell to actually go across your body, you can lift your hips up like a fulcrum, like to make it perpendicular, make it as aligned as possible to your body and to your arms. Um, but also, even with the hand placement, because you're putting emphasis on your lats, you're actually able to twist your hand on the dumbbell like that. Obviously, I'm not doing Illuminati shit. Fuck that shit. I ain't selling muscle. Anyways, you're basically twisting your hands so that you can put more emphasis on your lats and on kind of the wing span, kind of on your kind of that muscle of the lat, the part of the lat where you can kind of see it, where it makes it look like you've got wings and you're Icarus or something. Obviously, hopefully Icarus without falling to your death from the sun, but it really puts a massive amount of pressure. And for me, I don't lift heavy in general, but I mean, I only do like, I think the most I've done, like kg, is only one dumbbell, by the way. It's like 14 kg. So that's like 14 kg is like just under 33 pounds. And I know you guys will be like, what the fuck? That's so low weight. That ain't shit. You weak ass bitch ass motherfucker. I'm like, okay, alright, bro. Okay, you want me to ego lift and snap my fucking shoulders in 3 different places? No. No, I'm not doing that shit. No, I'm not doing that. But the exercise, it is just ridiculous. It is so intensive, and it's like the upper body squat. That's what it feels like. So you think it's just gonna be the lats, but the shoulders and even the chest has to literally stabilize your body from folding, from being cooked, from the dumbbell itself, and that really puts a lot of tension on your lats, and it is absolutely crazy. It's definitely a recommend for me. Ideally, you should be doing it with a lower weight so you kind of get used to the actual mechanics and the actual kind of technique on performing the dumbbell pullovers. That's what I did. I had literally like a 6 kg, 8 kg dumbbell, not even that, maybe even like 4 kg dumbbell, to where I was just trying to figure out the hand position to the dumbbell, my hips, making sure that I can actually bring the dumbbell, across my body, down near my skull, to the tip of my skull, and all the way around to back to my chest area, to the start point, because the start point is the chest area. That's where you have your hands placed like this, and you go all the way back to the tip of your head, like over here. Over here. So it goes all the way from your chest all the way to the tip of your head, and that's it. And that's as far as you should go with your shoulders and your arms, to be honest. Because if you go further past the tip of your head, like this point over here of my head with using this cap, um, you're gonna massively increase the chance of you destroying your shoulder blades. So I don't want you guys doing that. And the shoulders are one of the most common injuries, especially for men who focus and put a lot of emphasis on their upper body, which is totally understandable, especially the body dimorphism with differences between genders and just it's just to be honest, it's just biological. To be honest, it's almost an instinct for guys or young men or whatever to kind of build an aesthetic upper body, and that's why I'm making this video. Um, so the second exercise to train your back muscles is the Kelso shrug. The reason why I picked the Kelso shrug is because I know people understand there are upper back muscles, but I don't think people train for the upper back muscles. They just assume that deadlift and just lifting heavy and bringing the weight up and down and doing like a croc row or doing like a like a dumbbell kind of pull over, but with a single straight arm is gonna just work your upper back muscles. No, you have to focus on your upper back muscles entirely, just like with your abs. People say, "Oh, just train the compound lifts and your abs will develop. Your forearms will develop. Your traps will develop." You have to focus on the specific muscles entirely and put 100% devotion and attention to it because you're not going to train the muscle properly. So with the Kelso shrug, it's an exercise that can be done with the cable kind of row machine. Also, when you sit down and you basically pull, also it's either like some cables or it's kind of like the metal cable, kind of gym equipment where the handles are very close to each other like this. Um, and you're basically gonna focus on actually handling the very top part of the actual handle itself because we're focusing on the upper back muscles, including the spinal rectors as well, slightly, but we mainly want to focus on the actual upper back muscles. In order for us to do that, we need to hold basically the top part of the handle and slowly shrug. It's not one of those ones, not shrug in terms of upwards, but in terms of across and back towards, and really contracting your scapula to ensure that you can actually pull the weight properly. Um, and with this exercise, I've picked this one because it's the easiest way to train an exercise where you're training probably the most neglected part of, um, arguably up there with the spinal rectors, of course, the most neglected part of training your back in general, on your torso, of course, not your glutes. Um, and with this exercise, it's mainly just to go obviously slow again on the negatives. It's not an ego lift type of exercise. It's not an exercise where you can put loads and loads of weight. Obviously, depending on how much you weigh in general. Obviously, how many years you train in the gym. But this is mainly an exercise where I do like 25 kg, so that's like maybe 55, 60 pounds. I'm assuming, I'm just guessing. Um, and it's an exercise that's quite easy to do, and I'm picking exercise that easy to do. If I wanted to pick an exercise that was really good, to be honest, as a bonus, to be honest, it's the seal row. But with the seal row, it's an exercise where you need to have a high elevation, so you need to basically have a really tall bench, which is not really doesn't really exist, and that requires you to either stack loads of different uh, plates, or it requires you to actually grab the kind of what do you call it? It's like the plyometrics kind of bench. It's not a bench, but it's like a plyometrics tool where you basically it's like a step ladder. It's like a step. I don't know what you call it, but I'm just trying to describe it. You have to use two of those to do the seal row, and the seal row, in my opinion, is better than the Kelso shrug, just because it's very similar to the dumbbell pull over in terms of putting loads and loads of pressure on your muscles in general, on the back muscles, of course. But the Kelso shrug is definitely a great introduction. Also, if you're bothered to bring, I don't know, like 3 plates, 4 plates on each side of the bench, on both sides of the bench, then you do you. But for me, I just can't be asked. I just look like a maniac. People think I'm. It's not even on two sides. It's on all 4 sides where you have the kind of making me look like I'm doing hand signals, man. Come on, fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's the 2 points of the bench that you have to put, some elevation on the actual thing itself, which makes the seal row not an exercise that I would recommend, just because it's very annoying to set up. But once you're able to set up, once you're able to actually to do the exercise properly, it's better than the Kelso shrug. But that's my bonus, obviously. That I didn't even write down. I just wanted to say it for the sake of kind of illustrating different exercises to train. And the third final exercise to train your back muscles is called the sternum or Geronda pull up. So I'm not using this variation of the pull up just to sound fancy and sound different. It's an actual variation, a different type of pull up. Also, the normal pull up. Also, you got the pull up bar, and you're gonna pull your upper body up towards the bar to where you basically your chin is level to the bar itself. Also, using your lats, using most of your back muscles, to be honest. With this exercise, the sternum Geronda pull up, it's quite an advanced pull up. So the reason why I've highlighted this type of exercise, because it puts loads of pressure on the lats. So it has a very strong contraction due to the mix of vertical and horizontal pull that occurs when performing this exercise, and also it gives you guys almost like a goal to achieve. You know, most people can't, because the thing with this exercise is not a normal pull up where you just go up. You basically so you contract your scapula and you go up and down. You almost have to point your actual chest, to the bar with your chin. It's weird. I'm doing weird hand signals. I'm not trying to do it provocatively. Um, but it's a weird exercise because you have to almost make your chest level to your chin, which has to be level to the bar, to the pull-up bar, to ensure that you have actually done the exercise properly. And that makes it very difficult. It puts loads and loads of fucking pressure on the lats. And if you're not careful, you can definitely tear a muscle, tear a muscle, and get it, just be cooked. So with this exercise, if you do want to do it, but you don't feel comfortable, either use bands or use what's that pull up machine, the ones with the pad, the pad for your knees. Pause. No homo. You can use that one. You can use that pull up machine. I think that's fine, to be honest. I mean, if you guys are gonna troll in the comments just because you think it's a girly exercise, then I can't be asked, because the bands are good, the bands are cool, but most people don't have bands, and most people can't be asked to actually set up the bands and then take it down and set up again. And it's just long. So with these exercises, I've tried to mix, two elements: convenience and also a ridiculous amount of pressure, ridiculous amount of contraction with the muscle, get the blood flowing, because that really allows your muscles to grow and allows your body to actually kind of get that stimulus to actually building muscle. Obviously, building muscle in general, the the typical way most people do it, is quite controversial, and I will make videos on this, and that'll be part of the decentralized kind of health kind of videos that'll be posted on my YouTube or this channel over here, and also with the Instagram as well. So with these three exercises, the dumbbell pullovers, I would recommend 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps just to begin with. If it's a lower weight, like a lower, I mean like less than 10 kilograms or even like less than 8, and you can do 12, but these exercises are not exercises where you do it quickly for the sake of it. It's not like a tricep push down or a bicep curl where you can just spam and go as fast as possible and just get results, or feel feel like you've accomplished the exercise or execute the exercise properly. These three exercises are exercises where you have to take your time for the sake of your safety and for the sake of building muscle, which is a win-win, to be honest. And if you do the complete opposite of going fast, yeah, yeah, good luck with trying to do a dumbbell pullover fast. Your shoulder's gonna snap, your lat's gonna be cooked, and you're gonna look crazy. You're gonna look absolutely crazy. These exercises are meant to do very slowly. These exercises are meant to be very like, low weight, lower weight, lower reps, normal sets, of course, like 3 sets. The same thing with the Kelso shrug. Also, you can get away with it more because it's a lot more of a stable, a lot more of a safe exercise, because most of the safety is provided from the actual machine itself. And you can shrug more, you can cheat more, you can, pull a bit more heavier, but still, uh, the main benefit is going to come from actually doing exercise slowly. And with the drone to pull up, please take your sweet time. You only have one body, you only have 2 set of lats on both sides of your body, and you need to go slow with the drone to pull up, the sternum pull up, no homo. I think that's everything. I think I yapped definitely enough for this video. These are the 3 exercises to train your back muscles. I also gave you a bonus as well on top of that. Again, with that exercise, the seal row, you're basically lying flat on the bench. So your chest is lying flat on the bench. Your face is facing the bench, and you have 2 dumbbells, and you're basically making the dumbbell parallel to your shoulder and to your upper chest to focus on your upper back muscles. And you have to have all these your plates or something to make your bench definitely higher, so that your arms are basically dangling with space, so you can actually pull the dumbbell or pull the barbell, whatever you're using. I I've used dumbbells in the past, um, light dumbbells, of course, because I'm not built like that, not yet. But with that exercise, when you do the bonus exercise, you need to focus on that. Focus on making sure that you can actually pull the weight properly up and down. It's a very strenuous exercise, to be honest, and that's why I didn't really recommend the seal ropes. It takes a lot of time of setup, and also it's quite a difficult exercise to kind of perform if you don't understand what you're doing. So I think that's everything, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.